Okay, so in this video, there are two little bugs that I want to address. And the first one being, if we run this, and then we hold down a key such as A, then eventually I'm pressing down A, but it's not working. And that is because if we scroll up in console, you can see this error right here. And this is because if we click on here, while the render method is trying to loop through user input, it's also adding a character to user input from our key typed. And the simplest way to explain this is basically, I may be a little bit incorrect when I state this, but I believe it to be that all these keys, the key listener runs on a different thread than the rest of this stuff, and since both of them are trying to modify the same thing at the same time, that is a problem. And it's a really simple way to solve this problem. Basically, all you do is you add synchronized in front of the method type, so void, and you add that to both of the methods. And what synchronized means is that anything else that has synchronized in front of it cannot be run while another synchronized method is being run. And just to see that fixed the problem, if we hold down A for however long we want, it is not going to crash. And then you can switch the letter, but it is simply just not going to crash. Now, the other bug that I wanted to address was, it's going to take a while to get there, but once you reach the end of the screen, so about there, then you can see it just keeps going off of the screen, and we don't want it to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is, when it reaches about right here, we're going to make it print out a line that says press enter to continue. And that way, if we have the game printing out text or something, then it knows to, then it'll stop and the user can read whatever it's printed out and then press enter to continue on to the next page, before which it will clear all of this. So, the simplest way to do this is, the first thing I want to do is we're just going to remove this line. Okay, and now that line's gone. Now it's just our typing. And now what we're going to do to fix this is we're going to add a boolean, private boolean off page. And then we want that to start off as false, so off page equals false. And then what we're going to do here is if off page return. And what that's saying is, if off page is true, then it's not going to draw whatever we're telling it to draw. And then what we're going to do here is, I need to count those lines. Okay, so if you would just, here, let me, yeah, so what I'm going to, I just have to see how many lines it takes to fill up the screen, so that we know what the Y is going to be on. And we want it to stop the line before here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so we can close that. And what we're going to do here is if y equals 21, we're going to draw a string of press enter to continue. And we're going to pass in the graphics. And then we're going to just add out of this method. And so I don't have to type all that again. What I'm going to do now is, since enter doesn't have a necessary key character, basically what we're going to do, actually let me see if I can do this. If e.get key char equals key event dot let me see. I guess there really are no characters in here, which doesn't make this easy. Okay, so I think enter is represented by this, which basically means new line. Then we're going to sys out enter, and we're just going to remove this line for now. And let's run this and see if I did that right. Cool, so this is the character value of enter. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to do text draw dot enter pressed, and then we're not going to add anything to user input, so we're just going to return. And then for enter pressed, public void enter pressed, we're going to check if it's off page. So if off page, then what we're going to do is let's see. Main class dot current class dot user input dot clear, y equals 1, x equals 0. So basically we just reset these. And then off page equals false. And then if it's not off page, then we're going to add 1 to y, and then we're going to want to perform this check. And up here we have to do off page equals true. And now we can just copy that and paste it down here. We don't need the return. and our only problem is that we don't have a graphics for this. Which is going to be a issue. So instead what we can do is we can find a loophole, main class dot user dot current class dot user input dot add, and we're gonna have to do a small for loop here. For string s equals new string, press enter to continue. And now for character c s dot get let's see, s dot to Carol Ray. And that is our loophole. So now we can save this, and I think we're going to want to make this synchronized too. Synchronized. Actually, no, we don't actually need to make that synchronized. Save. Okay, so now high, and then pressing enter should send us down, which it did not. So why didn't it? Called high. Well, at least enter is not having the effect of a space anymore, which is a slight fix. But I cannot tell why it is not adding one to y. Why is it staying at 2? Is it getting reset somewhere? Reset X and Y. Just a slight change there. And we should just be able to type next line here. Another thing down here, next line x equals 0. Okay, that is really annoying. Mainly because there's no reason why that shouldn't be working. Because it's being called, obviously, and yet the text still stays up there. Well, there is one thing I can think of that may or may not be affecting it. I think I'm pretty sure I know what it is now. Okay, so of course. So basically what we're going to have to do is, instead of just saying next line, we can just add enter. Yes, so just get rid of all that and get rid of the return. And now what we're going to do up here is right here, if C equals new line y plus plus, we want to do that right there. And then before this, if C is not equal to the new line, and that way it won't be drawing empty spaces on us. So now what we can try to do is hi, and the one thing it needs to do now is reset x. X equals 0. Hi, how, oops, that's backspace, and backspace doesn't work. And we also want to put this x plus plus in there. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, now the last thing to code is backspace. And I am not really sure what backspace is represented by in keys. So it's out get key here. And now if we run this and type a backspace, it has a nice question mark for us, which I'm hoping we can copy in And let's see if this works or not. If get keychar equals this question mark thing, sys out backspace. And if this doesn't work, then I'm going to have to go try to find out what it might be. So let's see, backspace. And yes, that actually does work for backspace. So now that we have a backspace worked out, we can just do user input dot remove user input dot size. And what that should do is remove the last thing from user input. And that's going to add one more check here. If user input dot size is greater than 0. Now we run this. We want to return. User size minus 1. Okay, doing nothing. I erase the H. And you can see it is now working. So now the only thing we have left to test is getting to a new line. So about right there it should have done it, but it didn't. Which means we need to try to fix it. It's going to be in a text handler. And if let's try 20. That's not working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So it's definitely past 20. Yet it's still not doing what I want it to. So let's reduce it to something like 10. And it's still not working. Right here we'll print out Y. Of course. And it's simply because this is not being called by our enter method. So what we can do is we can simply move this outside of here. Now we can try running this. And then we have a bit of an error. Oh, of course, it's telling it to draw this string, but it's also saying off page is true. So what we're going to do is we're going to add one more group boolean drawing last line, drawing last line equals false. And basically, the reason it is doing this is because even though it is not off page yet, because we didn't set it to off page, we called this first, y is still equal to 20, so it's just calling it over and over and over again. So what we're going to do is, and not drawing last line. And then we're going to set drawing last line equals true. And then after that we'll set it to false. So that should have fixed it. And no, that just cleared the screen. It didn't actually draw that. Huh. Well, now we know our clearing works, we just need to figure out why it didn't actually draw that. And that's probably going to be related to something to do with this. Just to make sure it's getting to here, we're going to print this out. And then, if drawing last line, we're going to print out C. If off page, I guess that makes sense. Let me see if the bug still happens like this. If we just fill it up with letters, it'll actually tell us, nope, it still clears for some reason. Ah, that would be it. It's not actually drawing anything. So, instead of that, let's get rid of this whole drawing last line thing. So we don't need it anymore. Instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to same thing as, okay, we're just going to do the thing we did earlier and add it to user input. Because it's not actually drawing anything after that. I did not want to put those. For character C S dot to char array main class dot current class dot user input dot add C, and we want it to be C1 since we already used C. And then the way to prevent it from typing new stuff is if not text draw dot let's change this to a public. Off page. And if we're going to change this to a boolean, return. And it's going to return true if it clears the page. There we go. So I think this should have fixed it. If we just fill up down to there. Nope. What is this? Of course. So let's just this will work. Draw string S. Oh, G. There. Nope. Now we need the drawing final string again. Sorry. I think this should fix it. There we go. And now you can see you cannot type anything until we press enter, which clears the screen and starts us back over. And I'm just going to get rid of that print. And what other prints did we have? Let me see if that fixed the print. Of course, it's still typing out enter, and that fixed that. But backspace does clear that. So we'll just make backspace not work if it's on that either. And let's change the Y here to 22. Perfect. That's exactly the right spot. Backspace no longer works until you press enter, in which case it does work. So now I'm just going to remove these two prints, and that will be all for this tutorial. So if you liked it, then like the video. If you want to see more of this, subscribe to my channel. If any part of this was confusing, then leave a comment and I'll explain it better in the next video. I'm sorry that I had to go back and forth between this thing so many times. I hadn't really figured this out in my head as well as I thought I had. But we finally got it working, so that's the good side. And if there's anything you want me to cover in just a normal tutorial, not related to this text-based game, but like off-topic, maybe something else basic that I haven't gone over yet, then leave a comment on that, and I'll consider it too. Thanks for watching.